I spoke with White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain about the president's recovery and his agenda. Here's what he had to say.
Well, he's feeling pretty well. I talked to him a little while ago, and he's been at work all day on the phones, talking to staff and other people. His recovery's been very, very strong. He's really reacting well to the Paxlovid. I'm not going to predict what day he will test negative for COVID, but he's certainly going to be in isolation for the minimum of 5 days, and then he'll come back to the Oval Office when he gets a negative test.
Perfect. So the president will be back only after a negative test.
Yes.
Perfect. Good
And again, he, as you know, Simone, he is fully capable of working for the residents. Yes. He has the full array of secure communications equipment there, as well as Zooms to do meetings from there. And people have seen him at work, saw him yesterday meeting with the economic team about gas prices on a live stream. So he's able to do his job as president anywhere in the world. He's certainly able to do his job as president from upstairs at the White House residence.
I would agree. So, Ron, there are 17 people that were listed as close contacts to the president. You are on that list. We know that you tested negative today. None of the other contacts on that list have tested positive yet. What do you attribute that to? Is it the policies at the White House, the mitigation measures? What is it?
Well, first of all, Simone, all of us, any of us, could test positive tomorrow or the next day. So I don't want to, not here to spike the football or anything like that. I do think all of us have been very careful. We're careful here at the White House. I mask up in most of the meetings I'm in. I've been wearing a mask. I took it off for this appearance because the technicians are far away, but I've been very careful to mask since being a close contact. I'm careful to mask most days here inside the building. And most importantly, we are fully vaccinated. I'm over 50, so I'm double boosted also. And so, we've taken the steps to protect ourselves. I think the most important thing, though, Simone, is this. If one of us turns out to be a positive case, we'll have the same defenses that the president has, that every person in this country can have. Free vaccines, free boosters, tens of thousands of locations you can find on covid.gov within a few miles of your house. Free tests that we mail to your home. So if you feel sick, you can find out if you have COVID or not. And finally, free treatments, including the treatment Paxlovid, which we have more of than any other country in the world, easy to get, convenient at your nearby pharmacy. These are the things I'll do if I turn out to be positive, but they're not special things for people at the White House. These are tools that are available to every person in this country, coast to coast.
Given all of that, Ron, I'm wondering how the White House is preparing, because last fall we know that there was a surge in COVID-19. Another surge is expected this fall. Are there any additional measures or precautions that are being taken in advance of that potential surge?
Yeah, Simone, I think, first of all, we are trying to get the message out about boosters again, particularly people over 50 who haven't gotten their second booster shot should get that shot. We're continuing to work with the scientists to develop new booster shots, potentially for the fall and beyond. But I do think the big thing that will be different this year from previous surges is the availability of Paxlovid. Just a few months ago, Paxlovid was not really even on the market, not really approved, and then only in very small quantities. The president's COVID response worked with the drug makers to make the U.S. the country that acquired enough Paxlovid so that the people who test positive can get it. We put it all out throughout the country. Again, it's free. You can get it at your pharmacy with a prescription from your pharmacist. We changed the FDA rules to allow that. That drug, even if you're not vaccinated, reduces your chance of going to the hospital by 90%. So the people who are vaccinated and boosted are very well protected. If you test positive, whether you're vaccinated or not, we will have Paxlovid this fall. We didn't have it last fall. I think that's going to make a big difference, Simone.
Ron, I want to ask you about another virus that is now in the news. On Saturday, the WHO declared that monkeypox is a global emergency. I know the White House put out a statement. I'm just wondering how this is going to impact the White House's response with now the new WHO declaration.
Well, I think, since the first case in the U.S. In late May, we've been taking steps to ramp up the acquisition of the vaccine, to get the vaccine distributed in this country. You're going to hear more announcements about this in the coming days, Simone. We take this very seriously. And we know that particularly for the communities that have been most affected, they need us to get this vaccine where it needs to get to as quickly as possible. That's what we're working on. We want to try to contain the spread of monkeypox and try to make sure this does not become an endemic virus in the United States.
All right, let's turn a little bit. Let's talk about what every American seems to be feeling, Ron, is gas prices. We know that they have been up, but now gas prices are going down. They have nearly dropped 60 cents, and that's according to AAA. Now, I know that some of my Republican friends were blaming you all when the gas prices were up, and now they're hitting you for taking credit. So what is your take on this?
Well, first of all, the fact that gas prices are coming down in the summer is really extraordinarily rare. I think a lot of families are like the Klain family. When they were younger, we threw the kids in the car, drove across the country in the summer, and to see gas prices falling in July, that's not something you see very often. They've fallen every single day since the summer started. Now, why is that? In part, it's because the president took an action no president ever took, which is he went into the federal stockpile and deployed 1 million barrels a day of oil, and then worked with our allies to get them to match that to a pretty great extent. So we put a lot more oil on the market. That's helping to bring the price down. We've taken other steps to try to increase production. The U.S. is going to pump more oil this year than it did most years that Donald Trump was president. So more oil on the market, more oil being pumped here in the United States, that's having a role in bringing this price down. Last thing is the president's been very clear with the oil and the refinery and the distribution industry in the United States that when the price of global oil comes down, they need to pass that along to consumers. The price of gas should come down even more because the price of oil has come down a great deal. We want to see the price of gas match that and come down even more in the weeks ahead. There are more than 30,000 gas stations in America where gas is $3.99 or lower in more than 30 states in this country. That's progress, but it's not enough, and we need to keep working on this.
As someone who goes to the pump regularly, Ron, I have to agree with you. Before you go, I want to ask about the president's approval ratings. To say the least, they are not ideal. But the reality is that pieces of his agenda are extremely popular. I'm thinking about the bipartisan infrastructure law. I'm thinking about recent gun safety reforms. So where exactly is the disconnect here?
Well, Simone, I think the president's approval rating is kind of a reflection of how people feel about what's going on in the country. And some things in our country aren't going well, not because of what the president did, but in fact because of what the president's fighting against. They want to see him fight for reproductive rights. He is. He signed a very strong executive order about that. Now they want to see if we're going to win that fight. They want to see the president continue to push to bring down the cost of everyday goods. We've got a bill in Congress this week to try to expand the production of computer chips, bring down the cost of automobiles. We've got a bill in Congress in the next few weeks, hopefully, to pass to reduce the price of prescription drugs and reduce the cost of health insurance premiums. So voters, I think voters are always kind of show me, don't tell me. And what they want to see is, are we going to produce on this agenda? Are we going to have success? Are we going to be able to match bringing down the price of gasoline with bringing down the prices of other things, continuing to create jobs? That's the challenge. That's what we've got to deliver on, Simone.
All right. Well, we are a little over 100 days away from the midterm elections, Ron, so we will all be watching. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Simone. Appreciate it.